Hello, everybody. This episode of the Lewis Saving Video Podcast is brought to you, as always, as a huge thank you to Joe Rogan, the JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience Podcast. Without Joe, I would have never thought about doing this podcast, and I will always be indebted to him. You can listen to his podcast on iTunes. You can watch his podcast on YouTube. You can view his comedy on Netflix with his new special, Triggered. I am not sponsored by Joe. Also brought to you is a huge thank you to Zions, the only energy drink I drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no crash, no jitters. The great tasting 0-calorie energy drink. Real energy for real people. The unique formula that gives you the hashtag Power2. I am not sponsored by Zions. However, I do have one sponsor, and that is Fucks. They're not given here, they're not given there, they're not given anywhere on this podcast. Alright, so today we are going to go over the NFL Draft. Yeah, I know. You took such a long hiatus only to come back and talk about this shit. Well, let's see. The last thing I did was Facebook Live, which was the draft. The reason I haven't been on is for the main reason of nothing's going on. So allow me to explain what I mean by nothing. Obviously, there are things going on. But most of the news, one person signed. Well, that was what happened today. So it's like, well, what's the point of reporting on something that's shit? So I can tell you that 2 people got signed. I waited a while to come back because I wanted to let the draft settle. I wanted everybody to get, signed. A bunch of the guys are signed. And I wanted to wait for the undrafted free agency to kick in. Now that the undrafted free agency has pretty much ended, including free agency itself, which is mostly over. I mean, not saying that you won't see a crazy signing from somebody, but mostly free agency-wise, most of the big names are gone. Also, playoff hockey is going on. I've been busy. I've been traveling. Yeah, traveled to Chicago twice. It's not a very nice city. I'm not a very big fan of it. I'm kidding. It's decent. The problem is that it's full of Blackhawk fans. I went there to watch the Griffins, the Grand Rapids Griffins, the AHL team to the Red Wings play. We moved on from that round. We're currently playing the San Jose Barracuda. Next game is tomorrow. The series is at 2-1 for Grand Rapids. So yeah, I've been busy watching playoff hockey, hence the monstrosity attached to my face. I would shave it off, but you're not supposed to, so I'm not going to. Alright, that concludes that. Now that I've told you what we're going to talk about, let's get into this shit and let's crack this baby open. Put that on the ground. So I think it's funny. I blink on here and it's like a half a second pause, so I actually see myself blink. Like that. That was kind of on purpose. Okay. So, based on the NFL Network, which is how I'm doing this, is on the NFL, define how I'm doing this. If you're interested in who your team signed, you don't want to read their draft notes, like, from Mike Mayock or whoever the hell does this. I want to say they're all Mike Mayock. Yeah. Who I think is a fucking idiot. But if you want to read his notes, you go to www.nfl.com/draft2017 tracker. Or type in 2017 NFL Draft Tracker into your search bar, and you'll be able to find it. It's from the NFL Network. So, all right, here we go. We're going to go in alphabetical order because that's how they have it. So the Arizona Cardinals were the first pick. They picked Hassan Reddick. 6'1", 273 is what they have, or 237. If I wasn't dyslexic. I'm not. 237 from Temple. I love Hassan Reddick. I think he's a crazy, crazy talent. He has a lot of physical tools. I'm not going to go over all this for everybody, don't worry. I love the pick because that is the position they needed. They needed a linebacker, and that's who they went and got. With the second pick, they went and got Budda Baker, as in the second round, the fourth pick overall. Budda Baker's 5'10". He's from Washington. He's more of a nickel type guy. He's a very solid safety. Somebody else to get to back up, the Honey Badger and their backfield. So, very interesting pick there. Then they picked up Chad Williams from Grambling State. Then Dorian Johnson from Pitt. And they picked up Will Holden. Oh, sorry, it's a guard. They picked up Will Holden, who's a tackle from Vanderbilt. And then in the fifth round, again, they had 2 fifth-round picks. They got T.J. Logan, running back from North Carolina. He's 5'9". He's got some good quickness, decent cuts. I like the pickup. Gives you a nice change of pace guy behind David Johnson. And then they picked up Rudy Ford in the 6th round, safety from Auburn. My guess is one of those guys is going to be either slipped to a nickel type corner almost, or they'll be used mostly on special teams. My guess is you're going to use Rudy Ford mostly on special teams. And those are their picks. The next team is, let me get my cursor over there real quick, the Atlanta Falcons. With the first pick, in the 26th overall, from the Seahawks, they traded up. The Atlanta Falcons took Takaris McKinley, defensive end, UCLA. He's 250, 6'2". Tack McKinley is his name. He's a crazy toughness. He's got really good speed. He uses his hands extremely well. He's great motor, and he can get in the backfield. And I like his teaming up with Vic Beasley. Now, what I'm saying, if you go back and read this, you're gonna go, "Oh, he basically quoted by Mayock." No, I happened to notice that he said that after I already did. I like his teaming up with Vic Beasley. I think that'll give them a very tough edge defensively. So now you have Beasley who can get in the backfield. You have McKinley who can get in the backfield. They have that D tackle. I can't think of his name right now. Who's from like Texas Tech or something like that. Who's really good. Who can get in the backfield. That's from a couple of years ago. He sacked Brady in the Super Bowl. I can't think of his name. That defense is going to be tough. All right, then they didn't have a second pick, so they go to round 3. Round 3, 11th overall, they picked Duke Riley. Now, I'm not a fan of this pick because of Duke Riley's play. He's not great, he's not bad, but he's a little undersized at 6 foot. 6 foot, 232 from LSU. That rhymed. Then they picked up Sean Harlow in the 4th round, who's a guard from Oregon State. Then in the 5th round, actually, funny, they have the 5th pick. So round 5, pick 5, 149 overall. From the Bills through the Rams, they picked up DeMonte Casey, cornerback from San Diego State. Casey's not real big at 5'10", but he's got some really good quickness, and he is a physical guy. So I'm very interested to see how he works out in this system. Then pick 12 in the 5th round, they got Brian Hill, running back from Wyoming. And then with their last pick, they picked in the 5th round, 31st overall, 31st in the round, 174th overall. They picked up Eric Saubert, tight end from Drake. Now, I don't know anything about him because I can't watch tape from Drake. They don't put enough film out there on the open web for me to find it. I'm not going to watch snippet videos, and I'm not going to watch highlight videos. I want to watch a game, and I want to see the mistakes you make. That's why I don't watch highlights. Too many people do that. Well, didn't you watch the little highlight video somebody made? No, I didn't. You know why? Because if you watch the highlight video, it's all good stuff. I don't want to watch the good stuff. I want to watch the bad stuff, too. I want to see when you make a mistake. Oh, well, you don't want to see that quarterback throw this interception at this time. That's how they lost the game. No, I want to see that because I want to see how he reacts after he does it. Does he flip a bitch? Does he throw his helmet? Does he punch a field goal net like Odell Beckham Jr.? No, he walks over the sideline and goes, "No, my bad, I shouldn't have done that." Okay. Then I have to look at the physical traits, the ability to throw, things like that. That's why I don't like to watch highlights. I like to watch actual games. I want to see your mistakes. I want to see your footwork. I want to see how you do things. and I didn't get to watch anything on Drake. So I'm sorry I don't have any information on that guy. Since I'm not an official scout, I don't get tapes sent to me. I have to go looking for them. Okay. Next is the Baltimore Ravens. Their first pick and the 16th overall pick was Marlon Humphrey, corner from Alabama. I was not a fan of this pick. I don't like Marlon Humphrey. I didn't think he was first-round talent. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. That's one. Two. Sorry, guys. Wouldn't it be awesome if I knew how to edit things and I could edit that out? Sorry. Gesundheit. Alright. Which actually isn't God bless you in German. I feel like I've said that before. I tell people that all the time. Anyway, Marlon Humphrey, 6 foot, 197, Alabama. Not a fan of his. I didn't think he was a first-round pick. I liked his physical traits. He was good at hitting you on your original get-off and right out of the gate being able to get good contact. However, I had question marks on him as the play continued downfield. Now, a lot of people are going to go, well, didn't you watch any tape on him? Of course I did. Except here's the thing I noticed. A lot of times, he had helpers. He had safety over the top. He had another corner coming over. He had a linebacker who was on the short route coming outside to cover on zone. And so, when they run flat man, is what I'm going to call it, flat man coverage, which is you just have one-on-one on the outside, because that's what I'm going to imagine that's where they're going to stick him. They're going to stick him on the outside. They don't want to put. I wouldn't want to put him in the slot. He's not fast enough. Put him one-on-one outside to cover someone like AJ Green. Now at 6 foot, that gives him an advantage height-wise. He's big enough, and he's got the physical tools to be able to hit you off the gate and be able to get you within the first, I'll say the first 10 yards. But as the play progresses downfield, I have question marks on his ability to cover you one-on-one. When it's mano-a-mano, I think he gets beat. Now, in the second round, they had the 47th overall pick, 15th in the round. They picked Tyus Bowser. Tyus Bowser, 6'3" out of Houston. Kid's really good off the line of scrimmage. I'm really interested to see if they keep him at linebacker or do they switch him to D-end. I would leave him at linebacker. I see him as the guy they just got rid of, which is Elvis Dumervil. He's kind of like that. He's a very good blitzer. I have questions on his ability to cover, but his blitzing skills are insane. Then in the third round, the 10th pick, once 74th. 74th overall. They picked up Chris Wormley, defensive end from Michigan. Chris Wormley is 6'5". Now, being 6'5" gives him that height advantage, gives him that ability to possibly block down some passes. I have question marks on his ability to get through the line of scrimmage. Now, I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying I have question marks in the NFL of him being able to do it. Now, if he works on his ability to get through off his get and able to get inside and push and shove and spin move and use his hands to get open and get in the backfield, I think he could be a huge threat. If he does what he did at Michigan, I think he'll struggle. I'm not saying he's going to be awful. I'm saying he's going to struggle because there are certain guards and tackles that are in the NFL that have been doing this a minute. And so they know how to stop a flat bull rush. There are some guys who are young who won't be able to. So I think he'll have some moderate success, but if he doesn't work on his spin move and his ability to get off and get into the open and take out guys, he's not going to be that great. I mean, he'll be okay, but yeah. Then they had another pick in the third round. That was the 14th pick, 78th overall. They picked Tim Williams, outside linebacker, Alabama. Again, picked him because he's from Alabama. And a lot of people go, well, no, because he's a good player. Throw on any tape with the exception of the Clemson game, and I want to say he played against Washington too. With the exception of those two games, tell me, where's Sam Williams? Oh, look, he's not on the field. So for a guy who played not very often, he had, pretty solid output. But, again, though, I'm not going to say all negatives about him. He does have some positives. He's 6'3". He's a very big guy. He can help block down some passes at 6'3". His blitzing skills are off the charts. He's very fast. He has a decent spin move. He uses his hands to get open, and he does get in the backfield. I look for him more off the edge, not so much a coverage guy. With the fourth round, the 16th pick, 122nd overall, they picked up Nico Siragusa, guard, San Diego State. Siragusa is a good run block. If I could speak English. Specialist. I lean for him on the running, not so much passing. With the fifth round, the 15th pick, 159th overall, they picked Jermaine Illuminor from Texas A&M. He's also a guard. I have questions on Illuminor. I think he leans too much, but I digress. And last, with the sixth round, second pick, 186th overall, they picked Chuck Clark, defensive back from Virginia Tech. Now we move on to the Buffalo Bills. Scroll on down here a second. There we go. The Buffalo Bills make a huge selection with their first two picks. The first pick, of course, is 27th overall in the first round. They got that from the Chiefs. They picked Tre'Davious White, corner, LSU. Now, Tre'Davious White at 5'11", a lot of people go, oh, he's short. And he's short, but he plays like he's 6'3". The kid is a very good corner. He doesn't make big plays. He's not that guy that you go, oh my God. Like USC had a couple guys that you go, oh my goodness, he's so great. Well, no, because he has a bunch of highlights. He doesn't have the sexy film that you look for, but he's got that gritty film. The stuff you're looking for as an actual scout or an actual coach. I don't want to see the whole crazy things that you see a lot with. Some people understand where I'm going with this. The corner from USC. Yeah, cool. He's got some flashy returns. He's got this flashy speed. Fine. But you know what? This guy does not have that flashy highlight film, but he's very good. He also can return kicks and punts. Tre'Davious White was my number 2 corner, I believe, coming off. My number 1 guy was Marlon Mac. Very solid pick. Their second pick, the second round, pick number 5, 37th overall, they picked Zay Jones, wide receiver from East Carolina. Zay Jones has decent speed, and he has perfect hands. This kid catches everything, and he's tough. He can take a hit. The second round, they had the 31st pick, 63rd overall. They got Deion Dawkins, guard from Temple. I like Dawkins. He's big at 6'4". He leans a little bit, but overall, I think you can grind that out of him. And they didn't have a pick until the 5th round, which they had pick number 19, 163rd overall. They got Matt Milano, linebacker from Boston College. Then in the 5th round, again, pick number 28, 171st overall, they went and got Nathan Peterman, Pittsburgh, 6'2". Peterman is more of your pocket guy. He does have some physical attributes and some, quickness. But I look at him more of a pocket guy. In the 6th round, 195th overall, they got Tanner Vallejo, linebacker, Boise State. Carolina Panthers are next. With the first pick, 8th, actually, first round, Christian McCaffrey was picked by the Carolina Panthers. He is 5'11". He is, of course, from Stanford. He has very good patience to cut and move. He's a very good receiver. He's a very solid runner. I have questions on his physical traits, but he's a very good runner. And he can return kicks and punts. In the second round, we had the 8th pick overall. Still, that'd be the 40th overall, sorry. They picked Curtis Samuel. Now, Curtis Samuel's a really good slot guy. He's not as tall as what they've been doing. He's 5'11", but he's got good quickness. He can also double as that guy you run reverses with because he was also a wide receiver / running back at Ohio State. Then they got, in my opinion, offensive line-wise, the steal of the draft, which is the second round, pick 32, 64th overall. They got Taylor Moton from Western Michigan. He's got really solid hands. He's got good footwork. I love him. Then with the 77th pick, 13th, third round, they picked Deshaun Hall, defensive end, Texas A&M. Now, a lot of people go, Deshaun Hall, who's that? He played opposite Myles Garrett, and when Myles Garrett wouldn't make a tackle, it was usually Hall that got him. In the fifth round, 152nd overall, that's the 8th pick, Corn Elder was selected from Miami. Now, he's a really good in the nickel, but I have questions on his, again, ability to cover. Pick 6, or round 6, pick 8, 192, Alex Arma, fullback, West Georgia. Then in the 7th round, they picked Harrison Butker, kicker from Georgia Tech. Is that right? That's it. Next is the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears royally screwed themselves by trading up with the Niners and picking Mitchell Trubisky. You took Mitchell Trubisky. I read that pick aloud and went, what? I think that is a waste of a pick. You picked a guy who has no strength in his arm, 50-50 accuracy, horrible pocket skills, and when it comes to the ability to run. You picked that guy. What the fuck were you thinking? I was all hopeful when I heard them trade up. I was like, ooh, maybe they're going to go edge rusher. They need an edge rusher. Nah, we're going to take the second worst quarterback in the draft. With the second round, pick 13, 45th overall, from the Cardinals, they pick Adam Shaheen, 6'6", Ashland. Again, I don't have a lot of Ashland tape, but I can say this from what I've picked up reading. He's 278. Now, I don't like that he's 278. I like to see him drop some weight. However, I don't want to drop too much weight because I read somewhere that he's quite athletic. Again, unable to watch much tape. I didn't watch any tape on Ashland. Wasn't given any tape on Ashland. Couldn't find any tape on Ashland. Well, I could find highlight videos. But again, I don't want to watch highlights. I want to watch actual game. I want to see the mistakes that are made. He has some decent athletic. Sorry, decent athleticism, and he's 6'6". So I like to see him drop to like 250. If he could get to 258, I wouldn't ask any questions. I'd go, all right, fine. But, at 278, you're almost 280. That's a little big for a tight end that I'm looking for. Unless you are purely looking for a blocking guy. In that case, they'd be as heavy as I want. basically just another offensive lineman. But I expect him to be used as a receiver to an extent. Then in the 4th round, that's right, they went from 2 to 4. The 5th pick, 112th overall from the Rams. Sorry. They picked up Eddie Jackson, safety from Alabama. Now, I have question marks on Jackson because of his broken leg. He broke his leg last year, and I have question marks on his healing and his ability to play. Now, again, I'm no medical person. I haven't talked to him. I haven't seen any x-rays. I haven't done anything like that because I'm not involved. So I don't know how bad his injury actually was. I mean, I know he broke his leg. I watched the game. But, when it comes to actually, is he fine now? I don't know. He could be a decent player. If he is, he's a very versatile defensive back. He's good at helping out on pass, and he can also blitz on the run. They have another pick in the 4th round. This is the 13th pick, 119th overall. They picked Tarek Cohen, 5'6" running back from North Carolina A&T. Again, little school, didn't see any tape on him. Same thing with the next guy. Round 5, pick 3, 147. They picked Jordan Morgan, guard from Kutztown, Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Again, I didn't see any tape on him. From what I read later, that was a decent pick. Again, I don't know. I can only say what I'm told or what I see. Now, if I didn't see tape on you, I'm not going to be like, oh, he's awful. I don't know. See, isn't it nice when you don't have someone like Colin Cowherd who's just making guesses? I actually looked this shit up. If I don't know who you are, I'm going to flat out go, I don't know who that fucking person is. Are they any good? I don't know. We'll wait and see. Unlike Colin Cowherd, unlike, what's those idiots that are on before him? The undisputed people. Yeah, they guess. When they don't play for the Cowboys, they don't know who you are. And they're just going to guess. And then they say, shit, that's outlandish. And you go, I'm sorry, I thought I was here to watch people report on things, not make giant, outlandish guesses. Cool. So now we go to the Bengals. They got the steal receiver-wise. With the 9th overall pick, they got John Ross, 5'11", wide receiver from Washington. For those of you who don't know who John Ross is, John Ross ran 4.22? For those who don't understand what I'm talking about the 40-yard dash. He ran it in, like 4.2 seconds, which is the fastest ever. This kid is very, very, very fast. Insanely fast. Deion Sanders fast. Sorry, I thought I'd throw that out there. Because Deion supposedly, again, I don't know, didn't see it. It wasn't televised at that time. Had a really quick combine, I guess. 40 watts. Now, along with being this quick and explosive, just overall, a blur, he can also catch. He's a solid pass catcher. He's got soft hands, and he's got really solid footwork to be able to get outside of the pass coverage and be able to catch the pass and be able to take it into the end zone. Now, on here he has shoulder injuries and knee injuries, and Mike Mayock's wondering about his medical and blah, blah, blah. Okay, first of all, Mike Mayock's a fucking idiot. Secondly, his shoulder injury, he's fine. His knees, he said he's fine. I'm going to listen to the player before I guess at what I think. If he says he's fine, I guess he's fine. Then with the 2nd round, pick 16, 48th overall from the Vikings, they picked, hey look, a woman beater, Joe Mixon. I'm not a fan of that pick. Main reason, you already have 2 running backs. You really don't need another one. From Oklahoma. Then in the 3rd round, They picked Jordan Willis, outside linebacker, defensive end. Let's be honest here. Let's put him where he belongs, defensive end. 6'4", Kansas State. And in the 4th round, 116th overall, they picked Carl Lawson, outside linebacker, Auburn. Again, what the fuck? Don't put him where he wasn't before. Leave him at defensive end. You want an outside linebacker? Go get an outside linebacker. You fucking idiots. Okay. Also in the 4th round, pick number 22, 128th overall. They picked Josh Malone, 6'3", Tennessee. Josh Malone is very, very tall. He's got very good quickness, and he's got good hands. Now, he doesn't catch everything. He does have some issues, but he will help you stretch the field, especially if A.J. Green goes down. Next, round 4, pick 32, 138th overall. It's a compensatory pick. They pick Ryan Glasgow, defensive tackle, Michigan, 6'3". His brother plays for the Lions. He's a center or a guard or something like that. Round 5, pick 9, 153 overall. They select Jake Elliott, kicker, Memphis. Round 5, pick 33, 176 overall. Compensatory pick. They pick J.J. Dillman, center, Utah. Round 6, pick 9, 193 overall. Jordan Evans, linebacker, Oklahoma. I'm a fan of the Dillman and Evans pick, personally. Solid pick. And just because we don't have enough fucking running backs, they decided to go in the 6th round, pick number 23, 207 overall from the Giants, Brandon Wilson, running back from Houston. When do you have enough running backs? You have like 7 on your roster now. Think you can stop? I normally stop after 2. Normally, like 3, my max. After that, I don't need any more. 4 would be the absolute. Now, you guys go 3, and you just said 4. Wait a minute. So you can have more. It depends on the team. In the case of the Bengals, you really only need 3. You really don't run the ball that much. Come on. Round 7, pick 33, 251 overall. That's a compensatory pick. They get Mason Schreck. I'm not making that up. S-C-H-R-E-C-K. Mason Schreck. Tight end, 6'5", from Buffalo. Oh, shit. I've done this like 4 times now. Hang on. Wait. No. There we go. Sorry, if you hit the key down, it switches teams. Not like scroll, which is kind of bad. Okay. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns. Obviously, first overall. If you don't know who they picked, I wonder if you watch any sports news anywhere. Myles Garrett, 6'4", Texas A&M. I've talked enough about him. I'm not going to. Then 25th overall from the Texans, they picked Jabril Peppers. Not real sure about that pick. I think Peppers is awful. That's just me. Round 1, pick 29 from the Packers, they get a steal tight end wise in David Njoku. David Njoku is a solid talent. He has really solid hands. He's 6'4". He can jump really freaking high. And he's got some really good quickness. He's also got solid blocking skills. With the 52nd pick overall, 20th in the round 2, they select Deshaun Kaiser, quarterback, Notre Dame. Now, I had originally said that he was like a 2nd to 3rd round talent. I think I even at one point said 5th round, just because I thought he played awful. However, I could see, 2nd round, all right, fine, realistically. And Kaiser went in the 2nd round, late in the 2nd round, actually, at 20. I felt that was a good spot for him to go. I don't agree with the team he ended up on, because he's with the fucking Browns, and the Browns are awful. But overall, and they don't develop anybody, but he went to a team that needed him. So I give him that much. In the third round, with the first pick in the third round, 65th overall, they picked up Larry Ogunjobi, defensive tackle, North Carolina, Charlotte. With the fourth round, 20th pick, 126th overall, they select Howard Wilson, 6'1" corner out of Houston. With the fifth round, 16th pick, 160 overall, they select Roderick Johnson, tackle, Florida State. See what they're doing? They're slowly starting to get better as I'm going through the draft. They picked up tackles, they picked up tight ends, they picked up receivers, they picked up safety, they picked up a tight end. See, they get better, slowly but surely. At the end of the draft, I'll tell you what's happened. Or by the end of the show, actually, it would be. I guess I gotta go run draft free agents yet. With the sixth round, pick 185, they picked Caleb Brantley, 6'3", D tackle, Florida. Then they get 7th round, Zane Gonzalez, kicker from Arizona State. Then they, in the 7th round, pick Matt Days, running back, North Carolina State. Really quick. Not real tall, but really quick. Now we go to the Dallas fucking Cowboys. With the first round, with their first pick, they picked Taco Charlton, defensive end, 6'6", Michigan. I have question marks on his ability to actually play, but we'll see. Round 2, pick 28, they have Chidobe Awuzie, corner, Colorado. He's a very good cornerback. I'm very, very excited to see what he does. Round 3, 28, they pick Jordan Lewis, corner from Michigan. Now, despite what most of my family says, because they're not real, well, the big sports guy that I talk to would be my cousin Zach. If he's watching this, hi. He's not a Michigan guy. He's an Ohio State guy. So anybody from Michigan, he despises. Now, with that out of the way, I will say this. Jordan Lewis is a very good athlete. Interested to see how he actually performs on the NFL big stage. Round 4, they pick Ryan Switzer, 5'8", from North Carolina. He's a receiver. Now, a lot of people immediately go, oh, he's really short. Reminds me of Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley plays for the Cowboys. He's a really good return guy. I'm very interested to see how that goes. Round 6, they go with Xavier Woods, safety from Louisiana Tech. I thought they got one more guy. Oh, they did. They got 3 more guys. Round 6, they got Marquise White, corner from Florida State. Round 7, they got Joey Ivey, defensive tackle, Florida. Round 7, they got Noah Brown. Yeah, Noah Brown, 6'2", from Ohio State. Round 7, they got Jordan Carroll. I believe it's Carroll. He is 6'3", 300 pounds, from Colorado. So, as much as people want to hate on the Cowboys, I'm sorry, it looks like they're just getting better. Now I go to the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos made the very, very smart selection, which I didn't know they were going to actually do because, well, they tend to do some things that are not so bright in the first round, and that is they got Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles, the tackle from Utah. Solid player. Very happy to see that that's where he ended up going. Round 2, they got DeMarcus Walker. DeMarcus Walker, of course, is going to try and probably be a replacement for DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Walker is a solid D-end at 6'4". Very, very physical, very big. In the third round, they got Carlos Henderson from Louisiana Tech. Then with the compensatory pick, the third round, 37th pick, they got Brandon Langley, corner from Lamar. In the 5th round, that's right, we went from 3 to 5. Round 5, they picked very injured, very, very much still injured with torn ACL, Jake Butt. Now, everybody likes to say that immediately. Well, he's hurt. Why would you draft a hurt player? Because when he comes off injured reserve, he's going to be amazing. Round 5, pick 28, 172 from the Packers. They got Isaiah McKenzie, giving you a very good return guy. He's only 5'7", but he's very, very fast. From Georgia. Round 6, from the Titans, they got D'Angelo Henderson, running back from Coastal Carolina. And then they had the compensatory selection of 253. For those of you who don't know what pick 253 is, it's Mr. Irrelevant. He's the last guy picked. Oh, by the way, they got, in my opinion, the best quarterback available in the 7th fucking round, who is, again, he's injured. Okay, yeah, he's injured, but as soon as he comes off the injury, he's going to be amazing. And that's Chad fucking Kelly from Ole Miss. You know, the guy I said that should replace Peyton Manning, or replace Eli Manning. Yeah, that guy went to the fucking Broncos. Last. Now we go to, Jesus Christ, Detroit. So I have to ask this question. Detroit's general manager, do you look anything up? Do you watch the team? Did you have any idea what the fuck we needed? Because you didn't draft any of that. We start the pick off 21st overall with Jared Davis. Jared Davis, who's hurt all the time. Jared Davis, who's not very good at covering people. Jared Davis, who's an okay blitzer. Jared Davis from Florida. You know who got picked next? The guy I told you to pick. Raekwon McMillan. Dumbass. Next, we have the 21st pick, 53rd overall in the 2nd round. So, we picked a linebacker from Florida, right? So it would stand to reason that you probably, someone who's not that great from a Florida team that didn't do all that hot. So your thought would be, oh, let's go anywhere else. Nah, let's stay with the shit team in Florida. Let's get Tease Tabor. I'm sorry. Again, am I the only one who pays attention to this shit? Wasted pick. So, okay, your 1st and 2nd round picks, wasted. Round 3, you get Kenny Galladay from Northern Illinois. I have no idea who that is. I didn't watch Northern Illinois tape. You know why? There isn't much of it. That's okay, though. It's okay. Rounds 1 through 3, we basically crumbled up our picks and threw them away. 3rd round, we made a 4th round, we made a very smart move. We got Jalen Reeves-Maven, a very good linebacker from Tennessee. So see, it only took us 4 rounds to get one guy that's worth something. With the 127th pick in the 4th round, we got Michael Robertson from Toledo. Very tall, supposed to have decent hands. Again, no tape on him. Can't watch it. Round 5, we got Jamal Agnew from San Diego. He's actually pretty good. He's a big depth guy, but he's not bad. Round 6, we got Jeremiah Ledbetter. Jeremiah Ledbetter, who's a very good defensive end. He can also play D-tackle if you really need him to. So, okay, we're at round 6. You have picked 2 people that are worth a damn. Agnew, I'm not going to count. He's more of a depth guy. Not saying he can't play, but let's be honest here. 2 people. In the 6th round from the Patriots, we got Brad Kaya. I'm going to say that again. In the 6th round, we got Brad Kaya. What did the Lions do last year? They got Jake Rudock. Now, I understand that you want a good backup. But really? Really? Not saying Brad Kaya is bad. I'm saying the Lions are stupid. So there. I said we were at 3 players. Now we're at 4 because Brad Kaya is a good player. Round 7, you get Pat O'Connor from Eastern Michigan. And that's it. So, all 7 rounds, we picked, 8 guys? 4 of them are worth what they were picked. So congratulations, Lions. Once again, you continued to find a way to flush picks down the draft, down the toilet, and ruin the team. Good job. Whoever made these selections should be fired. You know who else should be fired? Everybody. Just fire everybody. Start over. Okay. I'm done with that little rant. Now we move on to the Packers. Yep, Packers. Packers steal a guy from the Browns with the 33rd pick, and they get Kevin King. Now, Kevin King was having issues and was injured. Yeah, but as soon as he's not injured, he's a really, really good fucking cornerback at 6'3". What did the Packers need? Cornerbacks. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Let's look at the comparisons. Lions, Packers. Packers, we need corners. Where do they go? Huh, corner. Lions, we need defensive backs. Let's get a linebacker. Next, they get a safety in Josh Jones. Very solid safety. I'm not so sure if he's going to be that corner type guy, but he's a very physical, very good safety. Again, comparison. Still need help in the backfield. We'll go get a guy. And we'll get a guy who's not that great. Round 3, pick 29. They get, in my opinion, the best defensive tackle in the draft, Montravius Adams, 6'4" from Auburn. Round 4, pick 1. They got it from the Browns. They get Vince Beagle, Wisconsin. Very, very good linebacker. Round 4, they get Jamal Williams, running back BYU, because they needed running backs badly. Round 5, they get D'Angelo Yancey, 6'2", wideout. He's decent. Round 5, they get Aaron Jones, running back, Texas El Paso. Then they get, in the 6th round, Kofi Amikie, center, South Florida. Then they go in the 7th round and get Devontae Mays, running back, Utah State. And then last but not least, they get, in my opinion, the biggest steal receiver-wise in the later rounds. Round 7, pick 29, they got Malachi Dupree from LSU. 6'2", he's very, very quick. He's got good athleticism. He's got very, very strong hands. He's pretty decent at ducking. So let's, again, compare and contrast real quick. The Lions realistically drafted 2 guys we actually needed. The Packers drafted all the positions they needed. See how successful teams do things? They draft people they need. The Lions draft whoever the hell they want. Then we go to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans stole a quarterback 12th from the Eagles. And that's Deshaun Watson, the best quarterback, in my opinion, in the 1st round. Then you go Zach Cunningham at linebacker. Then they got Devontae Foreman at running back for Texas. He's decent. He's a really good power guy. Then they got, in the 4th round, Julian Davenport, tackle from Bucknell. I think he leans too much. Then they got Carlos Watkins, defensive tackle from Clemson. Then they got Treston Decoe, safety from Oregon State. I believe it's his cousin, played for the Falcons. Then they got Kyle Fuller, center from Baylor. I think that was a waste because you have the best center in the draft from last year. He's coming back from injury. No? Nobody? Okay. Now we have the Colts, who made, again, a very, very smart, very, very good pick in round 1. They got Malik Hooker. Then they shit the bed round 2 and got Quincy Wilson. Then they got Terrell Basham, who I'm a big fan of, defensive end. Then they got Zach Banner, offensive tackle, USC. For being 6'8" and 353 pounds, I'm not a fan of his, not because he's a Trojan, although that's part of it. It's mostly because at 6'8", yeah, cool, you're big, but you got some problems. Leans way too much and struggles with some basic things. If you can get that under control, you got a guy. Then they go Marlon Mac from South Florida. Then they go Grover Stewart, defensive tackle from Albany State, Georgia. Then they get Nate Hairston, corner from Temple. I think that's a steal in round 5. They get Anthony Walker Jr., linebacker from Northwestern in round 5. And that's it. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pick Leonard Fournette in round 1, running back. Then round 2, 34th overall, they get Cam Robinson, tackle from Alabama. Then they get Dwayne Smoot, defensive end from Illinois. Then they get a steal at round 4 with D.D. Westbrook from Oklahoma. Very solid pick. Then round 5, they get Blair Brown, linebacker from Ohio. Round 7, they steal a corner from everybody in Jalen Myrick, who's not very tall, but very, very fast. And then in the last pick, round 7, pick 22, 240th overall, they pick Marquez Williams, fullback from Miami. Actually, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, who in round 1 picked the quarterback of the future, we believe, which is Patrick Mahomes. Then in round 2, they picked Tenho Passanyan, defensive end, Villanova. In round 3, they picked Kareem Hunt, Toledo. Round 4, they picked J.D. Chesson, Michigan. I like that pick. Round 5, Ikam Eligwe, linebacker, Georgia Southern. In round 6, they picked Leon McQuay, the third safety from USC. Made sure I pronounced that name right. I reread it. That's why it took me a second. Now we go to the Chargers. The Chargers, with the first round, 7th pick, they pick Mike Williams. Gives you a huge weapon receiving-wise. Guard, they pick Forrest Lamp, steal of the guards for the second round. Third round, they get Dan Feeney. Again, they got the 2 best guys, in my opinion, at guard, with the exception of depending on where they decide to stick Bowles. I think they're going to put him at tackle. In the 4th round, they pick Rayshawn Jenkins, safety from Miami. Round 5, they get Desmond King, safety from Iowa. I don't think he's a safety, I think he's a corner. Then they get Sam Tebby in round 6 from Utah. And in the last round, 7th pick overall, they pick a man I am a very big fan of. They have him at defensive tackle, defensive end, Isaac Rochelle. Very, very big fan. Next, we have the Los Angeles Rams. With their first selection, they trade that away. Yeah, last year, they traded it away. They have a pick, second round, Gerald Everett, tight end, South Alabama. Then round 3, they go with Cooper Kupp, Eastern Washington. Cooper Kupp's got good speed, pretty good hands. Round 3, they get John Johnson, safety from Boston College. Round 4, they get Josh Reynolds, 6'3", from Texas A&M. Think he'll help in the run game. He takes pressure off the ability of being big and having hands. Round 4, they get Samson Ebukam, E-B-U-K-A, Ebukam, outside linebacker, Eastern Michigan. In round 6, they get Tanzel Smart, defensive tackle from Tulane. In round 6, they get Sam Rogers, fullback from Virginia Tech. Sam Rogers was used as an all-purpose guy, so I'm interested to see how they decide to use him. And then in round 7, they get a guy that a lot of people aren't upset about because he's so small. Well, it's funny because he's from the same school that you got a guy that you're about to re-sign who was really small, who's one of the best defensive tackles in the league, and that's Aaron Donald. Here they get Ewan Price, defensive end from Pittsburgh. Ewan Price is 5'11". Now everybody's response is, he's too small. He should be a linebacker. That's Mike Mac's first thing. He's like, he should be a linebacker, he's too small. Except for the part where Ewan Price is really, really fast. He's got solid hands. I want to see him succeed. I think he will whoop some people's asses. I mean, just look at Aaron Donald. He's only 6 foot. He's an inch taller than him. Now we go to the Miami Dolphins, I believe. Seems right? Yep. Their first big they hit Charles Harris, outside linebacker, defensive end. Missouri. I have question marks on him, but whatever. Round 2, Raekwon McMillan. Yeah, they got their steal at linebacker. Round 3, they get Cordera Tankersley. There we go. I had trouble saying that. I don't know why. Don't like that pick at all. Round 5, they get Isaac Asiata. That's a good pick. Round 5, David Chuck. Yeah, Godchuck. He's 6'3", defensive tackle from LSU. Round 6, they got Vincent Taylor, defensive tackle from Oklahoma State. And in round 7, they got Isaiah Ford. Again, Isaiah Ford, only 6'1", not the tallest guy, but he has some very interesting cutting ability, and I'm very interested to see how he does. Tankersley, I don't like because I think he plays mostly zone and not very good man. Okay, the Vikings didn't have a first-round pick. Remember, they traded that to the Eagles in order to get Sam Bradford. Yeah. Remember that guy? So, second round comes along. They trade with the Bengals. And they get pick number 9. They pick, in my opinion, running back-wise, the guy who fell way too far and ended up being a steal for the Vikings in Dalvin Cook. Then they had problems at offensive line last year. So where do you go? Round 3. We're going to Pat Elflein, the best center in the draft. Round 4, they get Jalen Johnson, defensive tackle from Iowa. Very good D tackle. Linebacker, they get Ben Gideon. Not so sure what to think about that, but I digress. Round 5, they get Rodney Adams, South Florida. Round 5, they get Danny Isadora, guard from Miami. I like Isadora. I think he's an interesting selection and he's going to need a little work, but overall, not bad. Then round 6, they get Bucky Hodges, tight end from Virginia Tech. He is a huge red zone problem. He was for every team that played Virginia Tech. Stacy Coley goes in the round 7 from Miami. He's a receiver. He's very fast. Round 7, they get Ifeadi. Oh, shit, that's right. This is the other guy. I couldn't pronounce his damn name. Odenegbu. Ifeadi Odenegbu. Defensive line, Northwestern. In round 7, they get Elijah Lee, linebacker, Kansas State. And then last pick for them was Jack Toko, cornerback, NC State. A couple of these guys have horrible last names. It takes me a second to get used to it. All right. Patriots don't have a pick until round 3. They have 2 in round 3. First pick, they get Derek Rivers, defensive end, Youngstown State. Then they get Antonio Garcia, tackle from Troy. Then in round 4, they get Dietrich Weiss, defensive end from Arkansas. Round 6, they get Connor McDermott, tackle, 6'8" tackle, I should add, from UCLA. That is all of their picks. The Saints, with the first round pick, they get Marshawn Lattimore, corner, Ohio State, my number 1 corner in the whole draft. Then they get Ryan Remishek, tackle, Wisconsin, very good pick. Round 2, they get Marcus Williams, safety, Utah. Round 3, they get Alvin Kamara, steal, from Tennessee. Round 3, they get Alex Anzalone. I have question marks on him, but he's a decent blitzer. Round 3, pick 39, they get Trey Hendrickson from Florida Atlantic. Round 6, they get Al-Quadin Mohammed, defensive end, Miami. Al-Quadin Mohammed. New York Giants, first round, they get Evan Ingram, my number 2 or 3 tight end. I think it's my 3 tight end. No, 2. I forget. I don't have my board up anymore, so I don't know. Round 2, they get Dalvin Tomlinson, defensive tackle. Not a huge fan of that pick, but you need a depth guy. He's pretty good. Round 3, they get Davis Webb. Very good quarterback, actually. Round 4, they get Wayne Gallman. Round 5, they get Avery Moss. And they get my personal favorite at the combine tackle, Adam Bisnowaty for Pitt. Now we go to the Jets. Their first pick was 6th overall. They get Jamal Adams. 7th, they get Marcus May. Those are back-to-back safeties for those who don't know. Round 3, they get Ardarius Stewart from Alabama. Round 4, compensatory pick. They get Chad Henson, wide receiver from Cal. Round 5, they get Jordan Leggett, steal when it comes to round 5. Round 5, they get Dylan Donahue, defensive line from West Georgia. And they get Elijah McGuire in round 6 from Louisiana Lafayette. And then they end the pick, right? That's the last one. Oh, no, sorry, they have one more for that. Then they, in the 6th round, take Jeremy Clark, 6'3", from Michigan. I'm a pretty interested guy in that. And then they get Derek Jones, corner from Mississippi, who's 6'2". So you got two really tall corners, and I'm very interested to see how they work together. Now we go to the Raiders. With their first pick, they get Gary Conley, cornerback from Ohio State. Then they pick my personal favorite safety in the draft. Round 2, pick 24, Obi Melifonwu. Round 3, they get Eddie Vanderdoes. Round 4, they get David Sharp, tackle, D-tackle and offensive tackle. Then they get Marquell Lee, linebacker, Wake Forest. Then in round 7, that was round 5. Round 7, they get Shalom Luania, Luani, something like that, safety, Washington State. Round 7, they get Jalen Ware, offensive tackle, Alabama State. Round 7, pick 24, they get Elijah Hood, running back, North Carolina. He's their power guy. Well, power guy, considering the other guy's quicker. And then last, round 7, pick 26, they get Trayvon Hester, defensive tackle from Toledo. Next, we have the Eagles. The Eagles from the Vikings, pick number 14, get Derek Barnett. Very happy with that pick. Round 2, they get Sidney Jones. Very good pick. Round 3, they get Rizal Douglas. Another really... Razul. Sorry, that's right. His name is Razul. The reason I remember that is because it's Spanish for red. Douglas. Another very good pick from West Virginia. Then they get Mark Hollins, wide receiver from North Carolina. Not unhappy with that either. Then they get Donnell Pumphrey, who's going to be the replacement for Darren Sproles, who retires at the end of the year. Then they get Shelton Gibson, wide receiver from West Virginia. Then they picked Nate Jerry, safety from Nebraska. Very good safety. And then they get Elijah Qualls. Qualls from Washington. Now we go to the Steelers. Their first round pick, they get T.J. Watt, linebacker from Wisconsin. Round 2, they get Juju Smith-Schuster, very quick guy from USC. Round 3, they get Cameron Sutton, corner from Tennessee. Then they get James Conner, running back from Pitt. I'm a big fan of that pick. Then they get quarterback I was very high on. I'm very interested to see how he does. And the backup for Ben Roethlisberger will be Joshua Dobbs, quarterback Tennessee. Round 5, they get Brian Allen, defensive back, Utah. He's 6'3". Round 6, they get Colin Hulba from, he's a long snapper from Louisville. Round 7, they get Keon Adams from Western Michigan. He's a linebacker. Next is the 49ers. With pick 3 from the Bears, they get Solomon Thomas. Then they get Reuben Foster at the end of round 1. Then they get round 3, Akella Witherspoon, cornerback from Colorado. Then they went and got C.J. Beathard, quarterback from Iowa. They got Joe Williams, running back from Utah. Very interested to see how he does. He was a very interesting prospect on my board. You get George Kittle from Iowa. Trent Taylor from Louisiana Tech, he's a receiver. DJ Jones, defensive tackle, Mississippi. And Pita Tuamapino, linebacker from Utah. And Adrian Colbert, defensive back, Miami. Get my charger here for a second. I'm trying to go through this as quick as I can. Then we go to the Seahawks. They trade away their first round pick, no surprise. Second round, they have Malik McDowell, wasted pick. 6'6" D tackle, Michigan State. Round 2, they get Ethan Pochik, good pick. Center, 6'6" LSU. Round 3, they get Shaquille Griffin, defensive back, Central Florida. It's not a bad pick. Not bad. Round 3, they get Delano Hill, Michigan. Not a bad pick, again, safety. Then they go Nazir Jones, defensive tackle, North Carolina. I think that's a better pick than Malik McDowell, quality-wise, even at 3. Round 3 again, compensatory pick. The last was compensatory as well. They get Amara Darbo, wide receiver, 6'2", from Michigan. Round 4, pick 4, they get Tedrick Thompson, free safety from Colorado. Then they get Michael Tyson. I'm not making that up. His name is Mike Tyson. Safety from Cincinnati. Then they get Justin Senior, tackle from Mississippi State. and David Moore, wide receiver from East Central Oklahoma. And they ended the draft with Christopher Carson, running back, Oklahoma State. Now we have Tampa Bay Bucks. Tampa Bay Bucks picked in the first round, O.J. Howard. Second round, Justin Evans. Not sure what to think about the Justin Evans pick. Pick 3, Chris Godwin. Kid catches everything. Round 3, they picked Kendall Beckwith. Round 5, they picked Jerry McNichols. That's a really good pick. Round 7, they picked Stevie Tiki-Kulivatu. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tiki-Kulivatu. American Samoans. You guys have the weirdest last names. Takes me a minute to get through it. All right, now we have the Tennessee Titans. With their first pick, they picked Corey Davis, 6'3", wide receiver from Western Michigan. Then round 1, pick number 18, they picked Adoree Jackson. That was the guy I was trying to come up with his name. Corner from USC. I think he's really quick, but I'm not so sure about him at corner. Round 3, they get Taywan Taylor, wide receiver from Western Kentucky. Then a compensatory pick in the third round, they get Jonnu Smith, tight end from Florida International. Round 5, they get Jayon Brown, linebacker from UCLA. Round 6, they get Corey Levine, outside lineman from Tennessee Chattanooga. Round 7, they got Josh Caraway, very good outside linebacker, defensive end. TCU. And they got Brad Seaton, tackle from Villanova. And they ended the draft with Khalifani Muhammad, running back, Cal. More of a special teamer guy. I'm going to grab my charger real quick. Anyway, you guys get to stare at my wonderful gut. Ta-da! There we go. Sorry, needed to get my charger. My laptop was screaming at me about how low the battery was. Next up is the Washington Redskins. First, get Jonathan Allen, defensive end, Alabama. Then they get Ryan Anderson, outside linebacker, Alabama. Again, another really good pass rusher. Round 3, they get Fabian Monroe, corner from UCLA. Round 4, they get Sa'ajay Perine, running back, Oklahoma. Then they get Monte Nicholson, round 4 from Michigan State, which is safety. Round 5, they get a tight end who had some off-the-field issues, but overall, a very good guy, receiving-wise, and that's Jeremy Sprinkle, tight end from Arkansas. Round 6, they get Chase Roulier, center, Wyoming. Then they get Robert Davis, wide receiver, Georgia State. In round 7, they steal the guy that I think is my number 3 safety / linebacker. He plays both. He's very good on athletic tight ends. And that is the 6'4" safety. Yeah, you heard me correctly. 6'4" safety, Josh Harvey Clemens from Louisville. Then they get Josh Hosley, corner from Auburn. And that concludes who got who. Let me scooch up a little closer. This next part, I'm going to have to go over even more. Okay. Now, what does this put me at? This put me at 1 hour and 9 minutes. If you're still here, go to the bathroom, do your water break, whatever. I'll wait for you. No, not really. You can just pause it. So that was just the draft. I still have to go through undrafted free agents. Yeah, we got at least another hour. At least. Alright, we're going to start from CBS Sports. All undrafted free agents. If you want to know how this is, just type in 2017 undrafted free agents. And it's the first thing that pops up, I believe. CBS. I trust CBS. So, starting the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills. They picked up Keith Toberg. Thanks, Toberg. Tight end Louisville. Jordan Johnson, running back Buffalo. Dakiel Shorts, wide receiver West Virginia. Marquise Sales, corner from Western Georgia. Jason Crone, tight end from Tennessee. Brandon Riley, wide receiver from Nebraska. Jeremy Tyler, safety, West Virginia. Nigel Williams, defensive tackle, Virginia Tech. Zach Wojtek, offensive line, New Haven. B.T. Sanders, safety, Nicholls State. Austin Rakow, punter, Idaho. Greg Pike, offensive line, Georgia. And Marcavius Lewis, defensive line, South Carolina. Next, we have Miami Dolphins. They picked up Matt Hack, punter from Arizona State. Cameron Malvue, defensive end, Houston. Drew Morgan, wide receiver, Arkansas. Malcolm Smith, wide receiver, Miami. Davion Smith, running back, Michigan. Torrey McTyler, defensive back, UNLV. Trace Martin Ogukwe, defensive end, Temple. Larry Hope, corner, Akron. Eric Smith, offensive lineman, Virginia. DeMaurier Stringfellow, wide receiver, Ole Miss. Maurice Smith, defensive back, Georgia. Chase Allen, linebacker, Southern Illinois. Joby Saint-Fleur, defensive end, Oklahoma State. Francis Awuzie, wide receiver, Stanford. Of those picks, I wasn't real happy with the other one. Marquavius Lewis would probably be on the first team. The second one, which was the Dolphins I just went over, I'm very interested to see how they use Davion Smith. Drew Morgan, I think, is a very good pick. And I'm also interested to see how they use DeMaurier Stringfellow. And, of course, Francis Awuzie. All of those are receivers, and the only one which is Davion Smith is a running back. The New England Patriots pick up Austin Carr, wide receiver, Northwestern. Harvey Lange, linebacker, BYU. Kenny Moore, cornerback, Valdosta State. David Jones, defensive back, Richmond. Jason Thompson, safety, Utah. Josh Augusta, defensive tackle, Missouri. Corey Vereen, defensive end, Tennessee. Jason King, offensive line, Purdue. Jacob Hollister, tight end, Wyoming. Cody Hollister, wide receiver, Arkansas. Adam Butler, defensive tackle, Vanderbilt. Andrew Jelks, offensive tackle, Vanderbilt. Cole Croston, offensive line, Iowa. Max Rick, offensive line, Harvard. Demarius Travis, safety, Minnesota. LeSean Daniels, running back, Iowa. DJ Killings, cornerback, Central Florida. Dwayne Thomas, defensive back, LSU. And Brooks Ellis, linebacker, Arkansas. Of those, my favorite pick is probably Corey Vereen. He's a very good defensive end. The two Hollisters, I'm yet to see if they do anything. Cody Hollister's pretty good. I don't know much about Jacob Hollister. Dwayne Thomas, I think, is a solid choice. And Brooks Ellis is actually a really good linebacker. Now we go to the New York Jets. They pick up Presley Estime, wide receiver, kick returner, Syracuse. Connor Harris, linebacker, Lindenwood. Anthony Fursker, fullback, tight end, Harvard. Austin Calitro, linebacker, Villanova. Xavier Coleman, cornerback, Portland State. Javorius Lehman, offensive line, South Carolina State. Gabe Marks, wide receiver, Washington State. Patrick Gamble, defensive end, Georgia Tech. Not real familiar with most of these people. However, I do know who Patrick Gamble is. I think that's a decent pickup for a depth guy. Meanwhile, that first year pick, I like that. Baltimore Ravens, the AFC North, they picked up Tim Patrick, wide receiver, Utah. Zach Terrell, quarterback, Western Michigan. Tim White, wide receiver, Arizona State. Daniel Henry, safety, New Mexico. Quincy, oh dear, they misspelled his last name. Quincy Adeboyejo, wide receiver, Clemson. Carlos Davis, Clemson. Mississippi, if I could read. Carlos Davis, cornerback, Mississippi. Bam Bradley, linebacker, Pittsburgh. Omarius Bryant, defensive tackle, Western Kentucky. Kenny Allen, punter, Michigan. Donald Payne, linebacker, Stetson. Ricky Ortiz, fullback, Oregon State. C.J. Board, wide receiver, Tennessee, Chattanooga. Taquan Mizell, running back, Virginia. Pat Richard, defensive line, Maine. Marquise Shakir, offensive line, Middle Tennessee. And Brandon Cupuano, offensive line, Georgia. Of those, my favorites are Zach Terrell, quarterback, Western Michigan. Very solid passer, decent athletic ability. I see him as the next Drew Brees. Quincy, again, they spelled his name completely wrong. Quincy Adeboyejo. Adeboyejo is a very good, very tall, very quick, solid-handed receiver from Mississippi, not Clemson. Carlos Davis, I have some question marks on, but it's, again, a very good pick. And I especially am interested to see how they use Kenny Allen. Yeah, that's right, I decided to pick a fucking punter. I want to see how they use him, if they use him correctly, if they actually want to use him as their punter. If they don't, then, I mean, he won't mean much, but I think he can help pin teams deep. Cincinnati Bengals pick up Demetrius Cox, safety, Michigan State. Cethan Carter, tight end, Nebraska. Brandon Bell, linebacker, Penn State. Darian Lafayosa, fullback, UTEP. Jervion Williams, running back, UT San Antonio. Dustin Stanton, offensive line, Oregon State. Carell Hamilton, wide receiver, Samford. Josh Tupou, defensive line, Colorado. Monty Monderis, wide receiver, Michigan State. Kent Perkins, defensive line, Texas. Hardy Nickerson, linebacker, Illinois. Landon Leckler, offensive line, North Dakota State. Stanley Boom Williams, running back, Kentucky. My top two picks for this are Demetrius Cox. He's a very good safety. I think he can be a good depth guy. And Cethan Carter. Cethan Carter is a very good tight end with good hands. He's a decent blocker, but I see him more as a receiver as opposed to your atypical tight end. Cleveland Browns pick up B.J. Bello, linebacker, Illinois State. Jamal Marcus, defensive end, Akron. Kenneth Oladobe, linebacker, Colorado. Landon Fleming, defensive end. Liddell Fleming, defensive end, Northern Illinois. Channing Stribling, center back. Oh my god. Cornerback. If I could fucking read. Cornerback, Michigan. It's been a long day. Tyler McNamara. If I didn't skip over somebody. J.D. Harmon, defensive back, Kentucky. Now Taylor McNamara, tight end, University of Southern California. Josh Boyette, offensive line, LSU. Carter Schultz, defensive end, Northern Iowa. Alvin Hill, cornerback, Maryland. Kaya Nakiao, safety from Brigham Young. of the picks I'm most interested in there, I go to Channing Stripling, McNamara, and Boyette. Stripling is tall. He's got solid hands. I like to see him cover one-on-one. I want to see what he can do there. McNamara is really tall. I'm interested to see how he does. And Boyette is a solid O-lineman. Yeah. Podcast.
What are you doing later?
I don't know.
Holly decides she wants to have a drink with him. Can you hang out with Ty?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Pittsburgh Steelers select Nelson Adams, defensive tackle, Mississippi State. Russell Shell, running back, West Virginia. That's an interesting pick. Christian Brown, defensive tackle, West Virginia. Francis Kalon, defensive end, Georgia Tech. Ethan Cooper, guard, Indiana, Pennsylvania. That's an interesting thing to read. Indiana, Pennsylvania. He couldn't make up his mind. He went to both. Scott Orndorff, tight end, Pittsburgh. Terrence Webb, defensive back, Pittsburgh. Keith Kelsey, linebacker from Louisville. And Nick... Sorry, I've only heard this name like twice. Schuessler? I think it's Schuessler. Quarterback, Clemson. He was their backup. I'm interested to see how he does. Schuessler, from the tape that I saw of him, which is very limited, he did a pretty good job. Of those picks, I'm very interested to see how Christian Brown does in the 3 set with the Steelers. Not saying they didn't run that. I'm interested to see who this Ethan Cooper guy is, because I've never heard of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Like I said, maybe he went to both. I attended Penn State and Indiana. It'd be funny. Dual enrolled. I would laugh my ass off at that. I'm sure it's a real place. I've never heard of it. Russell Shell is a very interesting pick as well. Russell Shell, not Russell. Russell. I'm not making that up. Rushel. Shell. Shell, like the gas. If you're old enough to remember what the hell that is. Russell Shell, he's got good quickness, good ability with a quick feet. I like to see him catch out of the backfield, if at all possible. AFC West, Denver Broncos. Deion Hollins, linebacker, UCLA. Jamal Carter, safety from Miami. Orion Stewart, defensive back from Baylor. Tyreek Jarrett, defensive tackle, Pittsburgh. Shakir Soto, defensive end, Pittsburgh. Kyle Sloter, quarterback, Northern Colorado. Josh Banderas, linebacker, Nebraska. Eric Ostel, outside linebacker, Charleston Southern. Marcus Rios, cornerback, UCLA. Ken Ekanem, defensive end, Virginia Tech. Interested to see how he does. Anthony Nash, wide receiver, Duke. Cameron Hunt, outside offensive line, Oregon. Dante Barnett, safety, Kansas State. Gerald Garcia-Williams, I'm sure it's Harrell, isn't it? I'm not sure. Linebacker, Hawaii. Of course, of this, I look for Ken Ekanem, sorry. He's a very good defensive end. Surprised he didn't get drafted. And I'd like to see how Tyreek Jarrett and Stewart do. Orion Stewart. Orion Stewart, of course, the defensive back from Baylor. He dealt with some injuries. Now we go to Kansas City. They have Alonzo Moore, wide receiver, Nebraska. J.R. Nelson, cornerback, Montana. Tony Stevens, wide receiver, Auburn. That's a good pick. Ashton Lampkin, corner from Oklahoma State. Jordan Stearns, safety from Oklahoma State. Anas Hasek, wide receiver, West Florida. Damian Mama, guard from USC. I actually know who that is. He's a decent guard. Reki Aliafua, defensive end, Utah State. Devin Campbell, safety from Oregon State. Austin Gearing, defensive line from Miami of Ohio. Wyatt Houston, tight end, Utah State. Justin Hunt, wide receiver, Marshall. Ashton Lampkin, defensive back. Didn't I just read that name? Yeah, I did. He's on here twice. Like, did I just read that name? Yeah, I did. That's weird. So that's twice now we found mistakes on CBS. I have to make sure I send something to them about it. Emmanuel Byrd, tight end Marshall. Corin Brooks, guard from Texas Pyramid Basin. Don't know what the hell that is either. Nolan Dowling, long snapper from Western Kentucky. Marcus Kemp from Hawaii. And Gear Dieter from Alabama. Gehrig, or how the hell you pronounce his name. Dylan DeBoer for the Chargers. Dylan DeBoer, Florida Atlantic. Shane Culkin, tight end Missouri. Michael Davis, corner Brigham Young. Austin Eckler, running back Western State. I have no idea where that is either. Nigel Harris, linebacker South Florida. Eli Jenkins, quarterback Jacksonville State. Oh, Jesus H. Christ. Young Ho Koo. I'm not making that up, although that makes a really funny name. Young Ho Koo. His real name, according to this, is Younghoe. That's his first name. Last name, Koo. I mean, I don't know. He is now officially my favorite kicker. Just because of that. Your name is Young Ho Koo. Okay. I can make that work. Next is Mike Moore, linebacker from Kansas State. And Brandon Stewart, cornerback from Kansas. Yeah, that's confusing to say. Kansas State, and then the next guy's from Kansas. Brad Watson, corner, Wake Forest. Mason Zandy, linebacker, South Carolina. Andre Patton, wide receiver, Rutgers. Artavis Scott, cornerback, Clemson. I'm interested to see how he ends up being used. Patton and Scott, both of them are very decent receivers. Scott's got some good quickness. My favorite pick of this undrafted nonsense for the Chargers, James Onwualu, linebacker, Notre Dame. That's my boy. Well, one of them. And then they picked Dontre Wilson, running back. Really, I would put him at receiver. Ohio State. Oakland Raiders. Anthony Chiaffi, safety, Rutgers. Jordan Simmons, offensive line, University of Southern California. Sorry, I just hate your school. It's nothing I got to do. Well, a little bit. Nicholas Morrow, defensive back, Greenville. Breon Borders, cornerback, Duke. Paul Boyette. Oh, that guy. Defensive tackle, Texas. Chauncey Briggs, offensive line, Southern Methodist. Fidal Brown, defensive end, Ole Miss. Farrell Browns, tight end, Oregon. I wonder if he's actually going to play. Chris Humes, cornerback, Arkansas State. Safety, Ricky Jefferson from LSU. Anthony Kukwa, long snapper, Lake Erie. Ahmad Thomas, safety, Oklahoma. Jordan Wade, defensive tackle, Oklahoma. Xavier Woodson Luster, linebacker, Arkansas State. Isaac Whitney, wide receiver, USC. Ishmael Zamora, wide receiver, Baylor. Keon Hatcher, wide receiver, Arkansas. Both of those last two picks are really good. I mean, they're not picks, they're undrafted guys, but both of those are really solid. Damn. Zamora's really fast. I like Jordan Wade pick. Ahmad Thomas, I'm a big fan of. Ricky Jefferson's a good pick. Both of the Browns, Fidal and Farrow, are both really good picks. Paul Boyette, I'd like to see how he ends up being used in this system. This is who again? Oh, this is the Raiders. Oh, shit. AFC South, we go to the Houston Texans, who pick Zach Conquay. Tight end, Stephen F. Austin. Eli Anquo, defensive tackle, UCLA. Malik Smith, cornerback, San Diego State. Ooh, holy shit. They got two really good guys. I'm looking down the list now that I'm reading this. The next one's really big. Deontay Gray, wide receiver, Texas Christian. Holy shit. Good for Houston. Jesus Christ. Justin Hardy, wide receiver, Illinois. Matt Godden, linebacker, Michigan. Oh, that's right. I always mispronounce this guy's first name. Dare Gumbawale, running back from Wisconsin. Holy shit. Deion Pratt, linebacker, East Carolina. Dylan Cole from Missouri State, he's a linebacker. Avery Williams, linebacker from Temple. LaTroy Lewis, linebacker from Tennessee. Dimitri Camille, offensive line from Indiana. Riley McCarron, wide receiver from Iowa. Joseph Scaffo, offensive line from North Carolina State. Zach Conquay, quarterback. Didn't I just read that? There are a couple guys that are on here twice. Shaq Hill, wide receiver, East Michigan. Daniel Ross, defensive line, Northeast Mississippi. Jake Simak, offensive line, Utah State. D. Virgin. Sorry. Defensive back, West Alabama. That's funny. Tavon Mutcherson, defensive back, University of Central Florida, and Joe Mathis, linebacker from Washington. So, holy shit. Keep an eye out for Houston next year. I mean, I already thought that due to the draft, but now that I see they're undrafted guys, Jesus Christ. I got a new guy to root for, too. Please, for the love of God, keep D. Virgin. I think that name is funny, okay? You don't like it, bite me. Indianapolis Colts pick up Darrell Daniels, tight end, Washington. Oh, by the love of Christ. Rigoberto Sanchez, kicker, Hawaii. Deshaun Bond, offensive line, Cincinnati. Brandon Radcliffe, running back, Louisville. Faustine Thomas, defensive end, Iowa State. Philip Walker. Oh, shit! Quarterback, Temple. He's actually really good. Bug Howard. Oh, wide receiver, North Carolina. He's tall. Dalton Croissant. Running back, New Hampshire. Chris Muller, offensive line, Rutgers. Jerome Lane, wide receiver, Akron. JoJo Nathan, wide receiver, Akron. Colin Jeter. Oh, shit! He went undrafted? Tight end at LSU, from LSU. Well, I guess you don't have to worry about replacing Dwayne Allen. There he is right there. Colin Jeter. Trey Griffin, wide receiver, Arizona. Garrett Sickles, defensive end, Penn State. Jerry Ogukwe, offensive line, William & Mary. Reggie Porter, cornerback from Utah. Chris Lyles, defensive back, Mississippi College. Oh, I wonder if that's EMSU. Might be. Thomas Hennessy, long snapper from Duke. Very interesting to see how Colin Jeter works in that system. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have Carroll Phillips, linebacker, Illinois. Jeremy Cutray. C-U-T-R-E-R. Cutray. Corner, Middle Tennessee State. Parker Collins, offensive line, Appalachian State. Justin Horton, offensive outside linebacker, Jacksonville. That's kind of funny. You played for Jacksonville and you went to Jacksonville. Kenneth Walker, wide receiver, UCLA. Kyle McMeekin, fullback, University of Central Florida. Caleb Bluye. I think it's Bluye, actually. I don't know. I've never heard it pronounced. B-L-U-I-E-T-T. Bluye. Tight end, Texas. P.J. Davis, linebacker, Georgia Tech. Tim Cook, running back, Oregon State. Colleen Cole, wide receiver, Kentucky Wesleyan. Ooh, there's a good pick. Amba Editawo, wide receiver, Syracuse. Charlie Miller, safety from Dartmouth. Avery Genesee, offensive line from Texas A&M. Itavius Mathers, running back from Middle Tennessee. Ezra Robinson, cornerback from Tennessee State. And Hunter Dimmick, defensive end, Utah. For those who wonder why they know who Ezra Robinson is, he played for Michigan State. And he transferred. Tennessee gets Tyler Ferguson, quarterback, Western Kentucky. Jonah Persig, offensive line, Minnesota. Braylon Cherry, wide receiver, North Carolina State. D'Angelo Brown from Louisville. Kevon Mabon. M-A-B-O-N. Mabon. I say Mabon. wide receiver, Ball State. Next, we go to the Cowboys. They got Cooper Rush, Central Michigan. Not worth it. I love that I can tell you that right now. Not worth it. Lewis Neal, Edge. Cool, I'm glad they called him an Edge. Defensive end, LSU. Lucas Waka, Edge. Defensive end, Wyoming. Kenneth Gilchrist, offensive outside linebacker, Appalachian State. Blake Yarwin, tight end, Oklahoma State. That's a good pick. Jahad Thomas, running back, Temple. Joe Jones, linebacker, Northwestern. Brian Brown, wide receiver, Richmond. Lavon Myers, offensive line, Northern Illinois. Like Yarvin I already said, motherfucker. Michael Coe, offensive line, North Dakota. Dan Skipper, offensive line, Arkansas. Woody Barron, defensive tackle, Virginia Tech. Nate Thieker, offensive line, Wayne State. Oh, Austin Appleby, quarterback, Florida. I see him possibly sticking around, but I don't see the other guy. I don't see Rush staying here very long before they cut the cord. Blake Yarwin, I'm very interested to see how he works. I mean, he's a really, really good tight end, actually. Now we go to the Giants, who have Jadar Johnson, safety, Clemson. Travis Rudolph, wide receiver, Florida State. Jessamine Dunker, offensive line, Tennessee State. Jerron Jones, defensive line, Notre Dame. Calvin Munson, linebacker, San Diego State. Chad Wheeler, offensive line, University of Southern Cal. Shane Smith, fullback, San Jose State. Colin Thompson, tight end from Temple. This is an interesting thing that you see with a lot of recruits. I'm going to read this. Ramond Delothk, D-L-O-A-T-H-C, Delothk. Tight end, outside linebacker. From Tempe? What the fuck is this? Is it supposed to be Temple? I don't know. I think they meant to type Temple, but it came out Temke. T-M-P-K-E. Let me double check something real quick. I highly doubt that that's what that is, but I want to see. I want to see what pops up when I type this. I'm weird. Let me do my thing. Notice, you guys hear me go, oh, I've never heard of that place. Yeah, the only thing that pops up is Temple. I wanted to see because I'm weird. Yeah, they meant Temple. Motherfuckers can't type. Keon Johnson, wide receiver, Virginia. Evan Schwan, defensive end, Penn State. Ooh. Josh Banks, defensive tackle, Wake Forest. Sure, I make mistakes, but when I actually type shit out, I reread it. There's too many names. No, it's not. Motherfucker, if I could make a spreadsheet on who's who, their 40 times their weight, their height, all of it for the combine, you should be able to write this with no problem. Motherfucker. Philadelphia Eagles get Corey Clement. Ooh, running back, Wisconsin. Greg Ward, wide receiver, Houston. You might recognize that name at quarterback. He moved back to wide receiver. Trey Sullivan, defensive back, Shepherd. Cameron Johnston. Punter, Ohio State. Tyler Orlowski, center, West Virginia. Billy Brown, tight end, Shepherd. Marcus Oliver, linebacker, Indiana. Jamal Wiltz, cornerback, Iowa State. Winston Craig, defensive line, Richmond. The Redskins pick up Kyle Calais. Offensive line, Michigan. Brandon Banks, defensive line, Charlotte. James Quick, wide receiver, Louisville. Zach Pascal, running back, Old Dominion. Tyler Cataline, offensive tackle, Georgia. Audrey Pipkin, defensive tackle, Texas Tech. Fish Smithson, center, Kansas. I think your first name is Fish. Laverne Jacobs, wide receiver, Maryland. Of those, I'm very interested to see Calais, Quick, and Catalina, not Cataline. Now we go to the NFC North. My division. I live in Michigan, so I'm used to this. We start with the Chicago Bears, who get Joseph, offensive tackle, Florida International. Jesus Christ. Buchanan, running back, Northern Illinois. Tanner Gentry, wide receiver, Wyoming. Why the fuck do you people have to do this shit? Franco House, basketball forward. That's what it says. I don't know who that is. Ball State. Must be he didn't play football before this. Freddie Stevens, fullback from Florida State. Rashad Coward, defensive tackle, Old Dominion. Jajuan Seals, Oklahoma State. I actually know who that is. Mitchell Kirsch, offensive line. James Madison. Deshaun Smith, tight end for LSU. He's decent. Andy Phillips, Utah. Lions. Alex Barnett, defensive end, San Diego State. Maurice Swain, defensive tackle, Alabama. That's an interesting pick. Noel Thomas, wide receiver, Connecticut. Yeah. Michael Rector, wide receiver, Stanford. Like that one. Storm Norton, offensive line, Toledo. Leo, Jesus H. Christ. Kolo Amatange. I actually think I have that right. Koloa Matatange. Leo Koloa Matatange. Offensive line, Hawaii. See, it just takes me a minute. You people with your fucked up names. Sometimes I wonder if these are meant to just trip you up. Like, here, let's see if they can pronounce that. Des Lorison. Defensive back, North Carolina. Robert Tanyan Jr., wide receiver, tight end, Indiana State. Brandon Barnes, tight end, Alabama State. Tion Green, running back from Cincinnati. Jeremiah Balaga, defensive end, UNLV. Josh Thornton, cornerback, Southern Utah. Nick James, defensive tackle, Mississippi. Now we go to Green Bay. Who picked up? I have to sip on something first. Saying this many names gets your throat dry. Don't believe me? Try it sometime. Green Bay picks up Izal Lunsford, defensive tackle, Bowling Green. Donatello Brown, defensive back, Valdesto State. Adam Pankey, offensive line, West Virginia. Aaron Peck, wide receiver, Fresno State. Cody Hyman, I'm not making that up, linebacker, Washburn, Heiman. Hyman. Michael Clark, wide receiver, Marshall. Monte Crockett, wide receiver, Southern Cal. Justin Vogel, punter, Miami. Florida. I think it's weird they had to put Florida. If it's not Florida, if it's not Ohio, then you don't need to put that. Jeff Gray, offensive line, Manitoba. David Rivers III, cornerback, Youngstown State. Jonathan Calvin, edge, defensive end, Mississippi State. Tyson Hill, quarterback. I like that pick, actually. Brigham Young. Khalif Phillips, running back, Charlotte. Thomas Evans, offensive line, Richmond. Lindsey Pipkins. I already read that name, didn't I? Swear to God I read that name a second ago. Lindsey Pipkins, corner, Oklahoma State. Minnesota Vikings, Dylan Bradley, linebacker. Their defensive line, Southern Mississippi. Devontae Collins, offensive line, Texas Christian. He leans too much. He's very quick, but he actually is not that great. Wes Lunt, quarterback, Illinois. Eric Wilson, linebacker, Cincinnati. Nick Fett, offensive line, Iowa State. Sam McCaskill, defensive end, Boise State. Tashawn Bowers, defensive end / offensive outside linebacker, LSU. Sean Washington, linebacker, Texas A&M. Caleb Kidder, defensive end, Montana. Terrell Newby, running back, Nebraska. Josiah Price, tight end, Michigan State. Horace Richardson, cornerback, SMU. RJ Shelton, wide receiver, Michigan State. The NFC West. Arizona Cardinals pick up Trevor Knight. I like that pick. Quarterback, Texas A&M. Drico Johnson, safety, Central Florida. Ryan Lewis, cornerback, Pittsburgh. Ricky Seals-Jones, wide receiver, Texas A&M. He drops a lot of passes. Cyril Nolan Lewis, safety from Louisiana Tech. Krishawn Hogan, wide receiver, Marion. Colton Agadoze, wide receiver, Rutgers. Deshavion Hayes, defensive back, Arizona State. Take that, bitch. Most people probably get tripped up by that name. I knew exactly how to pronounce it. I impress myself from time to time. Pasonian Tassini, defensive line, Utah. Another one. Trayvon Johnson, linebacker, Webster State. Colin Beavens, defensive tackle, Northwest Missouri State. Never heard of that one. Ironhead Gallen. Really hope that's not actually a name. Linebacker, Georgia Southern. Ryan Lewis, corner, Pitt. I just named that. I don't know. Yeah, I did. James Summer, running back, East Carolina, Sojourn Shelton, cornerback. Wisconsin, Stephen Wroblewski. Fellow Polacks can pronounce Polak names. Tight end, Southern Utah. Lucas Crowley, center, North Carolina. Jonathan McLaughlin, offensive line, Virginia Tech. Now we go to the Rams. I'm trying to get through this as quick as I can. I know you guys have shit to do. So do I. The Los Angeles Rams picked up Arion Penton, cornerback, Missouri. Ishmael Adams, defensive back, UCLA. Kevin Davis, running back or linebacker, Colorado State. Justin Davis, running back, University of Southern California. Jake Elderkamp, offensive line, Washington. Jonathan McMeans, offensive line, New Mexico State. Johnny Munt, tight end, Oregon. Florian Ramalande, defensive linebacker, Dartmouth. Casey Sales, defensive tackle, Ohio University. Dravius Wright, cornerback, North Carolina State. Jared Collins, corner, Arkansas. San Francisco. Now, I believe I read somewhere that they actually cut him and he's now with the Jets, but Katie Cannon. J.P. Flynn, outside offensive line, Montana State. Katie Cannon's a receiver from Baylor. Jamie Gilbert, linebacker, Colorado. Lorenzo Jerome, safety, St. Francis. Eric Magnuson, offensive tackle, Michigan. Darrell Williams, offensive tackle, Western Kentucky. Zach Franklin, corner, Washburn. Brett Treadwell, offensive line, Lamar. Noble Wachachuku, defensive end, West Virginia. Boom, bitch. Look up that fucking name. Tyler McCloskey, fullback, tight end from Houston. Malik Golden, safety, Penn State. Evan Goodwin, offensive line, Arizona State. Cole Hicatini, tight end from Louisville. Devon Newsom, linebacker from Missouri. Victor Bolden, wide receiver, Oregon State. Matt Brida, running back, Georgia Southern. Nick Mullins, quarterback, Georgia Southern. Kendrick Bourne, spelled the same way as Jason Bourne, actually. Wide receiver, Eastern Washington. Seattle, Skylar Howard. Quarterback, West Virginia. Hayden Plicken, tight end, UTEP. Tyrone Swoops. It says quarterback. You're wrong. Tight end, Texas. Quarterback from Texas. He signed as a tight end. Jordan Ruse, guard. Oh, really? He moved to Purdue. Tony Bridges, defensive back, Ole Miss. Algernon Brown, fullback, Brigham Young. So these guys, I already know who they are. Jordan Simone, wide receiver, Arizona State. Otha Peterson, he's from Louisiana Lafayette, he's a linebacker. Calvin Stein, offensive line, Weber State. Nick Usher, linebacker, UTEP. NFC South, Atlanta Falcons. Andreas Nappe, offensive tackle, Connecticut. Quincy, everyone mispronounces this one, Mauger. He's requested that you pronounce it the French way, Mauger. He's a safety from Georgia. Will Freeman, offensive line, Southern Mississippi. Tyler Renew, cornerback, Citadel. J.T. Jones, defensive end, Miami of Ohio. Chris Odom, defensive end, Arkansas State. Marcel Branch, defensive back, Robert Morris. Robert Leff, offensive tackle, Auburn. Janora James, cornerback, Iowa State. Reginald Davis III from Texas Tech, the wide receiver. Deron Washington, safety, Pittsburgh State. Christian Tago, linebacker, San Jose State. Sorry, the next guy's from San Diego State. Daniel Bruskill, offensive line, San Diego State. See, my brain jumped one because it's three-syllable. Taylor Reynolds, quarterback, James Madison. Cam Kasier, center, Portland State. Darius English, defensive end. Oh, he's from South Carolina. Yeah. Jordan Moore. Now, a lot of people are going to go, well, you got it in front of you. You want to guess. I'm pretty sure I remember hearing that name before. Jordan Moore, safety, UT San Antonio. Alex Torgensen, quarterback from Penn. Josh McGee, wide receiver, South Alabama. Travis Averill, Offensive line, Boise State. Deontay Burton, wide receiver, Kansas State. The Carolina Panthers. Get ready for 4 names that everybody knows. Well, 3 for sure. The 4th one, if you watch anybody worth a damn, you'll know who they are. Cole Luke, cornerback, Notre Dame. Ben Boulware, linebacker, Clemson. Brian Cox Jr., defensive end from Florida. Fred Ross, wide receiver from Mississippi State. Austin Duke, wide receiver, Charlotte. That's the one name I didn't expect most people to know. Okay. It's taking me a minute. New Orleans Saints, Chase Duminigs. Long snapper, Utah. Traven Durrell, wide receiver, LSU. Colin Buchanan, offensive line, Miami of Ohio. Cameron Lee, guard, Illinois State. Sia Tutule, linebacker, BYU. Devereaux Lawrence. Sorry, I've never read that name before. Defensive tackle, Auburn. Andrew Lauderdale, offensive tackle, New Hampshire. Arthur Moulay, cornerback, Memphis. Cameron Tom, offensive line, Southern Mississippi. Ahmad Fullwood, wide receiver from Florida. John Robinson, Woodridge. Robinson Woodgett, sorry. Fullback, UMass. Clint Van Horn, offensive line, Marshall. Now we move on to the Tampa Bay Bucks. They picked up Thomas Spurbeck, sorry. Anthony Auclair, Laval. It was wide receiver from Boise State. Auclair is tight end from Laval. DeAndre Barnett, defensive end, Southern Illinois. Cole Gardner, linebacker from East Michigan. Paul Magloire, safety from Arizona. Riley Bola, linebacker from Michigan State. Sifo Liafue. Shit, I fucked up his name. I can't pronounce it, actually. It's Liafue or something like that. Anyway, the quarterback from Colorado. Maurice Fleming, defensive back, West Virginia. Corrine Crivens, offensive line, Alabama. And Jonathan Moxey, cornerback, Boise State. Bobo Wilson. His actual name is Jesus, I believe. Bobo Wilson from Florida State is a wide receiver. Greg Maben, corner, Iowa. Alex Gray, safety, Appalachian State. And Richie Brown, linebacker from Mississippi State. Oh. And that's that. Holy shit. Holy shit. Let me see, what's that put me at? 2 hours? An hour and 52 seconds. We did it under an hour. Holy shit. Too many names. Too many people have fucked up names. Jesus Christ. Alright. As for Tampa Bay, Bobo Wilson, I'm very interested to see how he works, especially since Jameis knows who he is. Why does that matter? Jameis Winston's their quarterback, so to get him a familiar weapon, I don't have to think about when I throw it to you. I know you can catch it. Alright. That concludes this episode. Yeah, concludes. Don't you like that word? I do. This episode of the Louis Saban Video Podcast. As always, we are brought to you with a huge thank you to Joe Rogan and the JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience Podcast. You can listen to Joe's podcast on iTunes, you can watch it on YouTube, and you can view his comedy on Netflix. His special, Triggered, is currently on there. I am not sponsored by Joe. Also brought to you is a huge thank you to Zions, the only energy drink I drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no crash, no jitters. The great tasting 0-calorie energy drink. Real energy for real people. The unique formula that gives you the hashtag Power2. I am not sponsored by Zions. We do, however, have one sponsor, and that is Bucks. They're not given here, they're not given there, they're not given anywhere on this podcast. Sorry, it takes a lot to get all of that out and to do this much talking. I've been talking for almost 2 hours straight. And that, my friends, is how we do this. I just noticed that black bar cuts half my face off, so when I lean down like this, you can only see my eyes. Sorry, I don't view this, because every time I have it open like this, trying to see what I'm doing, it closes. And then I gotta start over, which sucks. Alright. I will try to be back sometime within the next 15 to 20 days. I'm kidding. No, my plan is to be on to cover the next event for UFC next week. Try to be on here next week. All right. As always, have yourselves a lovely day, night, whenever the fuck you watch this. Bye, guys.